Oh, yeah.
Oh, hell yes.
Here we are, guys.
Welcome back to
Welcome back to RetroActive. Oh, wait, let me just let this play a little bit longer.
Yeah. Oh, man. Y'all know what that's from, I hope, right? Sweet, sweet song.
Okay. Oh, man. So, what is that from, Will?
Dude,
Tell
that's the theme song from Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Legends of the Hidden Temple.
With your host, Kirk Bog.
And here he is now. I love how he always did that.
Yeah, exactly.
So, in case you were wondering why we're playing that theme song, it's because, Will, again.
Oh, okay. Well, so apparently word has gone around lately that Nickelodeon revealed that they want to do a TV movie this year based on Legends of the Hidden Temple, the old game show from the 90s that they used to run. And
Wow.
yeah, I mean, that's kind of weird, first of all, that they want to turn it into a TV movie.
Okay, well, back up. Before,
okay. All right,
before we
back
even
up a
talk
little
about
bit.
that,
All right.
the fact that they even want to revisit this,
Yeah,
it's very telling of what Nickelodeon wants to do with all of their 90s stuff. We on the show we've discussed Nicktoons and Nickelodeon's, I guess,
revisiting the past.
Yeah, they're wanting to bring back all these 90s cartoons, shows for people who are now approaching 30. But this is something that I didn't really expect from them at
Not
all.
at all.
I mean, if you just look at it from the sense of any other like production company, it makes sense to bring a franchise back in any way possible. But to turn a game show into a movie is something that I really haven't seen before.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, realistically, this is probably what I would want to think is like the first time that's ever been done, where like a game show has been turned into like a fictional movie,
like some kind of adventure movie. Okay,
yeah,
that might be the case. I can't imagine like Jeopardy.
Yeah,
being
I was trying to think of
something
that too.
dramatic,
right? I mean,
okay, but what I imagine they'll have for this movie is that they probably won't incorporate a lot of the actual game show elements, obviously.
Right.
Let's get that out of the way. But what they'll do is probably turn it into something that's like maybe for kids.
Yeah.
It's a
typical, Nickelodeon movie.
Yeah, it's a typical two kids. I can imagine they find a important like artifact from their grandfather's attic, and then he tells them the story, and then they go to I don't know, like
maybe they're on vacation in the jungle or something.
They go to some like
they
Peru, and they find like clues that lead them to this temple where Olmec is sitting, and they activate some kind of switch, and then he comes to life.
It's like, whoa, what's this talking head?
Yeah, and then he tells them like these things that they need to get in order to bring
But first, you have to cross the moat in order to get to the other side.
They'll have to like retrieve some sort of mysterious object from another temple to save like their grandfather who's dying. Or whatever.
But first, they have to like also answer the riddles to pass through the steps of knowledge and everything, right? They have to retell the history.
Yeah, they'll have to do everything that you say, like physical challenges and trivia, and then running through the temple, and then they get back to the grandfather and he's dead,
of course,
and then they bring him back to life, or he is materialized into the air and becomes one with the earth.
Yeah, he becomes the silver monkey, and then they have to put him back together, man. Oh yeah,
Grandpa, your head's on backwards.
It's like, you stupid kid, turn. Yeah, but I was reading a little bit. There was an article on Variety that was talking about this movie in particular, and how Nickelodeon's kind of continuing to basically revisit that past, especially from the 90s. And apparently they're also looking to do a 2-part Hey Arnold movie. I don't know if that means that they want to do like a live action movie, or a Nicktoons version. From the looks.
Wait, what? A live action Hey Arnold movie?
I don't know, man. But that's the thing. It's like with the article, it didn't seem like they were talking
No,
about a
that's
cartoon
no,
movie.
that is not gonna happen.
Yeah.
They're not gonna get someone with a football shaped head because otherwise it's not Hey Arnold
It's
anymore.
like, yeah, hey, football head. I guess your
Casting
head's not
call for
really-
football headed people.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be claymation. I don't know. Or maybe they'll do like the Peanuts movie and have it be sort of like that pseudo 3D.
But okay, that's still animated. It's not.
Yeah.
It's clearly not going to be live action if they want people to not be terrified at what they look like.
Yeah.
Can you imagine like it's CG like supported football shaped
Oh,
head
that would be
with
so weird.
no.
Yeah, and like
That
Gerald,
is not
like,
going on.
you just have like a black dude with like this like 3 foot tall like hair sticking straight up, But yeah, and according to Variety, they were looking to do a 2-part Hey Arnold movie with that, and I think they were. I mean, they didn't reveal everything that they were. The article says they didn't reveal everything that they that they have to offer, or that they're looking at revisiting. It did also say, I mean, according to like whoever is in charge of all these projects, that there's apparently a growing interest in sports themed programming and live events
For Nickelodeon?
Yeah,
Or just in general?
for Nickelodeon, or
Or,
like
more
kids
guts?
TV in general. So, well, that's what I was thinking. Is it's like, well, all right, you have like Legends of the Hidden Temple, which was one of their more popular game shows from the '90s. So, I mean, well, what else falls under that era that they could bring back or potentially use for, even for like, I don't know, not necessarily a movie, but for maybe to bring back as a show too, like today. And I was thinking like of some of those old, all of those other old '90s game shows that they had on Nickelodeon, like Nick Arcade, and yeah, like you said, Global Guts, man, that was a really good
Global
one.
Guts? No,
Wasn't
just
it
regular guts.
Oh, just Guts. Okay, Global
So-
Guts was when they made it all international.
yeah. Who wants it? Just United States people. That's what we want.
USA, USA.
Like, can you imagine them bringing back guts for like? Would they have for little kids or not little kids,
Maybe not
but
little
maybe like
kids.
teenagers?
Yeah, I think they would. I think you could totally do that even nowadays. I mean, I don't think because I don't think kids these days are like that, that much. I mean, that different in terms of like, what do they just not play sports or something anymore?
Maybe.
I mean,
But I mean,
no.
there's only 3 of them, so I'm sure 3 people in the United States at any given time will want to
Oh yeah,
do guts or whatever.
yeah, dude. I mean, essentially that whole last challenge was just like climbing up a mountain. I mean, you're still tethered, and there's obviously still like they have to worry about the kids' safety and
Yeah.
everything. So
But I
it's
mean,
relatively safe.
You know that if they brought it back, they would kind of go out there to make it more extreme because they
Yeah.
do have game shows that are like that. Wipeout.
No.
You never heard of it?
Oh well,
it's,
yeah, no, yeah, I remember that. That's the one where they're like
it's
kinda-
basically like an obstacle course, pretty
Right.
much like guts.
But it's isn't
it's
it over the water?
Yeah,
and
it's over
everything?
water. It's like jumping between these huge foam platforms,
Right, I
and stuff
remember
knocks
that.
you out. But those are for adults. But imagine bringing those elements into guts. I can totally see that.
Yeah, no, actually, I mean, I might not think that would be really like cool now, but I mean, if they could kind of bring back that spirit, I think that would be pretty interesting
Yeah,
too.
there's Wipeout and also was it American Ninja Warrior.
Oh, right.
It's
I
like a
remember
very
that.
similar like obstacle course kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like those 2 shows, they're fairly popular,
Mhm.
and I can see them incorporating those kinds of things into a new guts if they were to make it.
Yeah, if they were. I mean, let's wait and see what else they want to announce. But I mean, Legends of the Hidden Temple is a movie. Oh, that's still such a weird idea to me. Actually, when I first heard that, I didn't believe it at first. I had to look it up just the other day.
Yeah, like you can't. There's just something doesn't sit right with me about turning a game show into a movie.
Yeah.
It's like turning board games into movies, which they've done. Well, not successfully, but they've done it.
I'm trying to think.
Like
Like,
Battleship.
oh, yeah, you're right. It was a good thing you
Just
took
take
out
the-
successfully.
Yeah, take the loosest amount of connection between the game and the movie,
Right.
and there you go. Like
Battleship,
they're
yeah.
making a Monopoly movie.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
I'm-
whether or not it's going to be about like, people are not going to be playing Monopoly here.
Yeah, but they'll be like,
It's about the concept of Monopoly and
Right.
monopolizing things, which I guess could work.
rival real estate moguls or something,
And they've also done. There was one more I was going to mention.
Have they done Clue? Because I would think that would be an easy
that
one.
That was back in like the 80s, 90s.
Oh, okay.
You don't remember that?
Not
With
really.
Tim Curry and Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, okay. I kind of, now that you say Tim Curry, yeah, I kind of
Yeah.
remember. but you know, I don't think I've
that's one
seen it.
that's one of those movies that I've been meaning to watch for like a decade and
Yeah.
just never gotten around to it.
We should
One of
watch
my
that.
one of my favorite things though about that movie is that in the theatrical release, they actually included 7 different endings. One for each each one had a different character be the murderer or whatever.
Oh, so you
And
could go to like different screenings and maybe get like different endings.
yeah, I don't know if they actually did that, but I know they shot it.
That would be really cool, actually.
Yeah,
So it's like you go to the movies and you just never know what ending you're gonna get.
exactly.
You have to see it multiple times.
7 times. Sometimes you might just get the same one over and over.
Yo, replayability, but for movies to trick you into
That
going to the
sounds-
cinema.
That sounds money consuming.
Well, at least back then, the tickets were a lot cheaper to go to the movies than they are now.
I think just people loved movies more back. Like,
Well, they also
even-
made better movies, I think, back then too.
well, that's
Debatable,
yeah, that's
but
very debatable.
my taste in movies tends to trend towards the older ones.
Okay, well, going back to Legends of the Hidden Temple, like I rewatched a couple of the episodes. Like,
Oh, yeah?
a couple of months ago. It was I don't know, I think I was just browsing YouTube and decided to watch it for whatever reason, but there were some things that still they just never sat right with me, even
like
from
what?
watching it as a kid all the way up until now.
Yeah.
Mostly were the biggest problem I had with the game was the trivia sections.
Oh, the
As
steps
you,
of
as you
knowledge.
mentioned, the steps of knowledge were complete
Yeah.
bullshit.
That was all like made up stuff, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it's okay. Well, first of all, it's fine if it's fake.
Right.
It's a fake story. But Olmec, he goes on for like 3 or 4 minutes talking about this whole thing,
Yeah.
and then and I was watching all the kids like listening and trying to remember these things. And there's always one team that knows everything, and for some reason they're able to like hit the actuator on the floor faster. And a lot of times I'll see the other people like they hit it first, but they're like stomping on it
Yeah.
and they can't get it to go, and they're like,
So it sounds like it's rigged almost.
I feel
Yeah.
like it almost.
Like they know exactly who the two teams are that they want to go on.
Oh my God.
They're just like, these kids like are a little bit more interesting than these other kids.
That's
These other
so
kids are just
mean.
nerds. So just,
It's like,
turn
who
yours
who
off.
won last time? Okay, bring those guys into the finals instead.
That's messed up, man. Yeah, just it's funny because like as we've been talking about like a lot of the history stuff, it just reminds me kind of like Uncharted in a way. So I was thinking of
What
my
does the game
just
the
like
game show?
Well, yeah, the idea of it too. I was thinking, if they were to do a movie that was kind of inspired by that kind of idea of like Uncharted, it has all of this like pseudo historical stuff that they take actual myths and legends and they kind of turn them. They kind of base the story of the games around those sorts
Yeah,
of things.
definitely.
Like, oh, El Dorado, finding that sort of city of gold, and you realize, oh, it's like a city where it's like it's a curse or something like that, or a cursed city, something like that, and they twist it around. But yeah, a lot of it is like figuring out those kinds of clues and figuring out those questions, and while at the same time doing all the physical challenges, climbing up walls, shooting people in that one at least, But so I don't know if they could kind of take that idea too of like the way, I mean, looking at games these days, if they could take that idea of like Uncharted or Tomb Raider and kind of make a movie that's sort of like that. Although I don't know.
Okay, well, when you
in
put it
case,
that way, I think
yeah.
it might be easier for them. But this is for kids.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get very basic. You're gonna get a lot of those ideas, but kind of watered down to make
Yeah.
it kid friendly, child friendly, family friendly.
Inept bad guys / like guards.
Yeah, they're not gonna have guns. They'll have like
They'll have like blow torches or something. Or not blow torches, like like blow guns or something, dark guns or something.
blow torches. It's okay. We won't shoot them. We'll just burn them alive. That's more. That's child friendly.
You want to get through the dark forest? Well, you better watch out for all the blow torches. Oh, actually, that might be. You got to think that they're gonna do something with the dark forest in that movie, like with those trees.
Oh,
with
the ones that like
that
come
grab
alive?
you, yeah, and you got to like shove the pendant inside of their mouths to satiate their hunger. Oh, that would be pretty sweet, actually.
would.
That'd be an awesome scene.
What other rooms in? So do you remember the temple?
It
like
well,
the layout.
it changed from like season to season,
But I mean, they still had many of the same rooms in each one of them, like the Shrine of the Silver Monkey.
Oh.
Everyone knows about.
God, because it was so annoying to watch the kids like fucking try to solve the puzzle, and you're like, why are you putting the head on the base where the pedestal goes, you dumbass?
Okay, everyone talks about that room, but what if it was actually really difficult? Like, I don't know.
I mean, maybe under pressure, it could be.
Yeah, you have 3 minutes to get through here, or else you're not going to Florida,
Yeah.
which you already are because you're in Orlando. But
You got to think some of these later kids had seen the show, though.
true,
And then tell
they were the ones that
themselves.
were yelling, and then they go in, they still screw it up.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, some of the I remember like one of my favorite rooms was like the observatory. It was the one that was
all the
like
way at the top, right?
all the way at the top, yeah, and you had to like turn like the stone pedestals or something, or like the sundials, and sometimes it would be like really dark, and then you'd see all of these really really cool like star/light effects that would light up.
I remember that.
I remember really liking that part and thinking that, oh, that's so cool.
What about that room? I don't even remember the name, but they have the paintings of people in different poses, and you would have to match them.
Yeah. What was that like? I don't know what they called that room of. I saw something on like a wiki for it. It was like the room of like harmonic convergence or something like that. I might just be thinking of a term from Legend of Korra, but it was something along those lines. But yeah, they had the actuators on the wall, so
Yeah,
you
and
had
you had to like
actually
hit it with your
pose.
hands, and then half the time someone would grab you from behind them.
Yeah.
Remember that?
That was always messed up, man. Where the guards just hiding behind the walls. That would scare the crap out of me. Like, it's all well and good with the trees because you see that they have arms and a face. And
you
you're
can
like,
see it coming.
yeah, like that was the thing. Whenever somebody would enter that room and have to reach into the tree, you're like, all right, there's like a 50% chance that tree's just going to grab him, especially if he still has a pendant.
I know. Speaking of pendants, there's like, I always had a big problem with the first person going into the temple, passing by the first pendant and not doing a thing about it. Because there were two ways you could go into the temple.
Yep.
One with just one pendant, or one and a half. Mm-hmm. This is granted that you did well in the games before that.
Yeah, to earn
but
the
say
1.5.
like most teams either had 1.5 pendants or 2. Mm-hmm. And if you had 1.5, that means the other half of the second person's pendant is somewhere in the temple. And half the time that you see them, they'll lose their first pendant to a guard, and then they'll pass by a second one, and then keep going because I guess they didn't see it or whatever, and so they don't know that the second person doesn't know it's there.
Yeah.
And so they get screwed when they only have half, and then they just get caught, and the game ends. It's like if you're going through the first one, you really need to look out.
Yeah.
You need to see it and then wave it in the air like this is where it's at. Come get it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's oftentimes I think that was the point. It's like the kids seemed like they were trying so hard to just rush right through it to get the treasure and get out.
I know. And running is fine. You can do that, but
it's like you got to do it.
God.
You still got to play it smart, you know. Even if I think there were a couple episodes where the kids like wound up going through the entire like length of the temple, you know, and they were able, but they were still able to like grab the pendants and get out with the treasure intact and everything. So it's
I
doable
forgot
in
they had
3
to pick
minutes.
up whatever was in there.
Yeah, and you got to bring it back.
What if it's like this huge like stone block, like a tablet they got carrying on their back?
The Rosetta Stone. Oh, come on, man.
It's like 500 pounds.
I'm not bringing that all the way back from the Pirates Cove.
Man, what a game show. Even the host would help them out.
Yeah.
Even
He'd be like yelling at them.
if they're like struggling with one of them, like, oh no, you gotta do this. Come on. And then you hear like the music keeps playing and they're still struggling with it. And like, no, turn it the other way.
Because he's just got to keep the tension
I
like
just
going,
imagine his internal monologue, just like, what the fuck are you doing? I hate kids. They don't listen.
Yeah.
But he has to, just keep a very,
Yeah, he's
very
got
nice
to be very
smile.
positive
Yeah.
and very hopeful that like, oh, you'll get it. Just, you got to like keep going.
I wonder what happened to a lot of those kids game show hosts for kids,
Oh, I don't know.
or just those people who did those hosting jobs, like Steve
Yeah.
from Blue's Clues. I can imagine him being in the same boat as Kirk from Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah. You never really saw them in anything else. I
No.
think the only host that ever went on to do kind of anything notable was Mike O'Malley. He became like an actor on a couple of sitcoms.
Or Mark Summers.
Oh yeah, Mark Summers too. Wasn't kind of established already before he was doing Double Dare?
I don't remember.
Yeah, he seemed like he was quite a bit older too than some of these other hosts.
Yeah, if you look at him, pictures of him now, he has like all this white hair.
Oh man, I
There was actually I found a picture of Kirk Fogg
Uh-huh.
with Mark Summers and the black guy from Nick Arcade because I don't remember his name.
I don't remember.
It was like Jamal or something, right?
Sure,
I'm just
we'll go with
guessing here.
we'll go with that. I'm sure, like we'll look it up later and realize.
it was
Oh
like,
man,
no,
it's-
wait, hold on, give me a second. I don't remember. Anyway, but yeah, one thing that I really hope they do is bring back at least one of these game shows, because just like all the other cartoons and everything, they were made for people our age.
Yep.
Back in the 80s and 90s, and obviously they want to bring the Nicktoons back for people who are having kids now.
Yep.
For those kids, and why can't they do it for game shows?
Yeah, I
It's
don't
just
see
that,
why not.
Well, one thing I know is that I feel like game shows have kind of fallen out of popularity.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a lot more than they were before. I mean, you still see a lot of the old classic game shows that are still on that have been around for a while.
Yeah.
Like Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune
like
and stuff.
30 plus years, but
Yeah.
in the ones that were on Nickelodeon, that style of it, they kind of turned into, I guess, reality shows.
Ugh.
They kind of reality and game shows kind of merged together,
Yeah,
and
that's
making it a lot about the drama and
Yeah.
the physical aspect of whatever contest they were doing at the time. Like Survivor is still probably the biggest example of that,
right.
and how that's like the gold standard of not only reality TV but also game shows in general.
Yeah. I mean, I do like, for me, when I look at game shows today, I kind of look at ones that are, I do like how there are some that are still skill based, sort of. Like, I mean, I think of like Top Chef or, I guess to a degree American Idol. You could look at that
Yeah.
because it's still about like your skill and your, what you're doing, whether it's cooking, singing, or one that I even watched early on, like when it was in the first couple seasons, was Project Runway, believe it or not. And I mean, still, it brings more creative elements to it too.
Yeah,
it was
but-
still about like, all right, well, these people are like fairly talented, they have the skills, and now like we want to have them compete against each other. And that was actually, to me, that's a pretty cool idea, because a lot of the times when I look at like game shows nowadays that are still running and game shows that we watched as kids, the big difference is the physicality of it too.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of the shows for kids, they were physical skill based, mostly physical skill based kind of contests.
Yeah, well, kids aren't going to be able to.
Yeah.
They don't have very many skills.
Yeah, I mean,
like
they're
in,
not
like
gonna know
Project
all the trivia.
Runway or cooking, really.
Yeah, well, they have the kids cooking show.
Well, not back then.
Yeah.
No kid knew how to
Yeah.
cook back then.
But you look at all the shows, and there was a big physical aspect to it. I mean, Legend of the Hidden Temple, 3 out of the 4 events that you do, like the Moat, the Temple Games, and the Temple Run, all physical based. Guts, completely physical, sports based.
There's no trivia. and
Yeah,
cuts.
exactly. Double Dare, even they had the obstacle course. And what was it? What else was there? Nick Arcade, even. Nick Arcade, like, yeah, the idea too is it's like, it was a show for kids because, back in the 90s and stuff, it was video games were were obviously aimed at kids,
Yeah.
and mostly kids played them. But even at the end of the show, it's like the whole big last challenge was that you're going into like a physical room in front of a green screen, basically. To
I always
perform all these
wondered like
challenges.
what it looked like, being able to see like behind the scenes, and
Oh,
like I
yeah.
wonder how it must have felt for the kids to know that, oh, I'm going in there into a video game, and then you go backstage.
It's just
and
a bunch of
like
moving
room.
things full of green screen stuff.
Yeah, like the stuff that hits you.
yeah.
I always wonder what that looks like, and maybe the flames coming out from the floors, or
Right.
birds flying and hitting your head. Like they always seem to react really late to those things.
Yeah.
So I wonder what it is. I want to see like some kind of behind the scenes for Nick Arcade.
I
I
wonder-
think that would be really interesting.
If anybody has like that sort of stuff available, or if it's online, man, somebody link it to us, please, because that would be so cool to see. I'm sure it would break a lot of the, the fantasy we have about it. But I mean, nowadays, since we do like production stuff anyway, it's like that would be pretty interesting to see the setup.
Yeah.
Just how it was.
Okay, but when you're talking about like using using current game shows as like, a skill-based challenge and how it's more interesting. I feel like taking that advantage away, like people, what I liked about the older game shows, not only the Nick ones, but ones that were like, for example, Supermarket Sweep. If you ever watched that, they kind of take normal people just out of their element and put them into this like kind of fantasy world.
Yeah.
There were a couple of ones that I watched like around the game show block, and like it was like 4 or 5, 6 in the evening. I used to watch it. It was like Supermarket Sweep. There's one called like Shop Till You Drop, and I don't know. There was something about them that made them really, really interesting. Like, obviously, the people in Supermarket Sweep are not going to be these super amazing shoppers that work at like grocery stores or anything like
they're
that.
just normal people.
Yeah, they're normal people who love shopping, I guess.
I mean, I think
doing grocery runs.
Yeah, and I think that was a lot of. I mean, looking back to all those old shows, I think that was kind of like that was also one of the more popular aspects about them is that all the contestants, they're like normal people. They're like even people that they pull from the audience. So like you and me could be on there, man.
Like The Price is Right is right there.
Exactly. So that was the thing. It's like a lot of people, they saw it as like, oh man, I could be on TV and everything too.
Like that's really what I liked about it. That they felt very not only whimsical in the way that they presented. It wasn't like all this drama. It was just like, whoa, you get to shop, you win some money.
Exactly.
But also the fact that it was like invited. Anyone was invited to it.
Yeah.
Like you could play, and a lot of them you could play at home. Like I think those were the ones that were really the most successful, like Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
Price is Right. You could all do that at home and be like, I could be just as good as those people betting like, or bidding, was it like $600 on a $300 TV or something?
Yeah. Or even like Jeopardy. Like I think just last week we went out to dinner and they just had Jeopardy on the TV.
Oh, it was Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, Wheel of Fortune, and we were sitting there like watching it and yelling at like the contestants on there because we were like, we know what the answer is, and then when they give the wrong answer, you're just like, what the fuck are you doing? How do you not know what the answer is? So
like audience interaction is probably one of the more important things when it comes to game shows.
Yeah, and you can't do that on a physical or even like on a physical based show like a sports show.
You fight your friend while you're watching like American Gladiators or something.
But I mean, it reminds me too of. I think that was part of the thing too. As kids, like I think especially in the '90s, where a lot of the importance too when you're growing up is like on sports and getting out and playing and doing physical activities. And especially with television trying to promote that too. I mean, the idea is like, when you're a kid and, there is always that possibility that, you can grow up to be like a sports superstar.
American Gladiator.
You could be the next like Michael Jordan or Barry Bonds or Wayne Gretzky or something like that, And I think that was part of like the kids' fantasy too, is just like, when you're watching these shows, you're like, oh man, maybe I can do that too.
Yeah, like participating in something that's like bigger or larger than life.
Yeah.
Like climbing this gigantic mountain.
Yeah.
Having these foam rocks tossed on you.
Exactly, with all this confetti and like all these flashing lights going off.
With Michael Malley screaming into the mic for 3 minutes straight. Yeah. Dude, he never rested in that show.
No. He was like probably
he was on
hyped up all the time.
He was lit for like the entire half an hour. He was on something, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what I don't like about today's like, I guess, today's game shows is that reality TV flavor that they've kind of taken to it. My mom actually, she is a very big fan of a lot of those like whatever of love shows, like Flavor of Love, Rock of Love.
Holy crap.
It's like, and
that's not a game show though.
Well, the funny thing is, I asked her, she's watched those shows like so much over the years.
The Bachelor and all those
she's watching that right now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And so I asked her, I'm like, why do you watch this crap? And she says to me, it's like, oh, it's not real. It's a game show. That's literally her reasoning for watching it. And I sit there and I wonder, it's like, oh my God. The thing is, shows like that also, they portray people to be a certain way also. they show people like acting out and acting up in front of a camera, and they portray it as being like sort of like real life. And then the people that watch those shows, which are in prime time, so a lot of people are watching them, people like watch that and they think it's okay and they replicate it in real life. And
What?
it's just,
Who
I don't know.
replicates the
I don't know.
What the hell?
Just the idea too that like in those shows that, you have like one person who's basically dating like 12 other people in order to pick a winner at the end. It's like, man, if you were to do that right now in real life, man, your wife would kill you.
Well, why would you be married?
Well, I don't know. Maybe like, okay, well, if you just say if you had 12 girlfriends, I'm sure like 11 of them would probably be pretty pissed
when you
at
put
you.
it that way, yeah.
Yeah. Making out with
but that
different
brings
girls
up
on the
a very
screen.
interesting idea that shows like The Bachelor and whatever, they are game shows.
Yeah.
They do have a prize at the very end of the season.
It's not a very good prize.
Well, I'm sure to them, love or whatever they want to call it is what they ultimately want.
Yeah. But
man,
but they need a season 2, so obviously it doesn't work out.
well then they'll have another person, hopefully, to be the winner.
That
or
wasn't
the prize.
That wasn't how it worked with all the celebrity ones like Flavor Flav.
Celebrity ones, those are probably. I feel like those are more fake.
Yeah, definitely.
Not to say that The Bachelor or anything is authentic or real love.
Yeah, no.
Who even knows what real love is?
Well, never mind. I'm not.
No one here.
Not going to get into that. We can edit in some crickets chirping there or something. But yeah, I think that's also too like with going back to realize the reality stuff. Even in those skill-based shows like Top Chef or like Project Runway, the thing that sucks about them now is that I've stopped watching them like a long time ago because mainly I got tired of all the contestants that they were bringing in season after season. They would just obviously very much start to play it up for the camera because it's like they know they're being recorded at all times, and they know that like part of how they get on camera more too is when they start shit with other people.
Yeah, and then what that entails is that the producers will see that. They'll be like, people love this person that's like streaming all the time.
Yeah.
They want more of them. Keep them on.
Exactly.
Like, find ways in order to do that. Like edit it somehow to make them seem more evil. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they'll always find a way to boost ratings in that way. But I mean, that's one of the things that I just can't stand about like typical game shows today. Like the fact that they've become these like reality shows intertwined with some elements of a game show. Like there is a prize, whatever, you have to do challenges and whatever, but everything that comes with it is just kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Which is why one of my favorite shows now, game shows, is Cutthroat Kitchen.
Oh yeah?
Have you watched any of it?
I don't think I've seen that one. I've seen I've mainly watched Top Chef and Hell's Kitchen and those kinds of shows.
Yeah, those are the exact opposite of what this is. Mm-hmm. Because it doesn't have any like reality elements. Yeah, they have these contestants. They do like floating head interviews, intercut with whatever they're cooking. But do you know like the twists to the show?
No.
Okay, what
it
is for Cutthroat Kitchen, they bring four chefs in. They have a dish that each one has to make. Mm-hmm. And they'll shop for the ingredients, they'll cook it, and then they'll get judged by it. Pretty basic, pretty
standard. Yeah.
After 3 rounds, they'll have one person remain. They get to have the money, but in each round, what it is that they give them sabotages to buy with the money that they give them.
To sabotage the other contestants?
The other people.
Oh, geez.
And so that, the beginning of every round, the host, Alton Brown, he'll bring in like, some kind of like mechanism or something that will impede some other chef's cooking ability. So, pretty basic. He'll be like, oh, if you win this auction, you can be the exclusive person to taste your food through this challenge.
Oh, okay.
Or, win this and you can have one other chef have a hook for a hand the entire time. They're amazing because in the very beginning, they start off with very simple ones like that, like you're the only person who can use salt, or
Yeah.
you have exclusive use of the oven or heat sources or whatever.
Right. So it
But
makes everybody else kind of have to sort of rethink what they're
yeah,
going to
exactly.
do.
Or they'll take away an ingredient, whatever,
Yeah.
replace it with something crappy.
Right.
But as the seasons went on, they just got more and more extravagant with the kind of sabotages. Like there's some that cause people to have to work around like a different prep station. Like one of them was you have to cook in a bunk bed.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so there's like the chopping, wherever you chop all your stuff is on the bottom, and then there's like a hot plate on top of it, so you have to climb between them.
Oh my god.
Like
what the fuck?
There was another one where a guy had to use jelly beans instead of any spices or seasoning. Dude,
How did that turn out?
it was terrible.
Yeah, I bet.
There was like ginger flavored ones or whatever. But yeah, it's basically if I were to give it, a one sentence tagline, it's the Mario Party of cooking shows.
Nice.
Like that's basically what it is. It's ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
what people should watch a game show for. To see
Yeah.
like all the fun stuff that happens. I don't watch all the people don't watch all these reality shows at least in my
fun.
opinion, fun. They want
Yeah.
to see the drama. They want to see all the stuff, all the bad stuff happen. They want to see
Yeah, it's kind of like it brings out the like a little bit of voyeuristic.
they want to see like Gordon
instinct in
Ramsay
us.
screaming at people, telling things that it's raw.
Yeah.
That's not something that I am interested in looking and watching. I'm more
either.
interested in watching just
Something fun.
Fun. That's
Yeah.
what game shows are at their heart. There's fun,
Yeah, it's
whimsical.
fun competition.
Yeah.
Right. And that I feel the same too. I think for me, when I was thinking about, how I miss a lot of the skill-based stuff, or the skill-based shows. And I was thinking to myself, man, I wish I could just like watch like a skill-based contest like that, but without the drama. And I realized I'm just thinking of sports, like in general. I just basically want to watch sports in that case. Like,
Well,
all right.
No, you still have sports aren't the only skill.
Yeah,
that you can
no,
have.
I know.
There's plenty of other things.
I know, I
It's
was
just that none of them exist.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have like those same kinds of shows anymore. I mean, even the idea of like Nick Arcade. I mean, being the first kind of competitive like show for video games.
Mm-hmm.
That itself was like, pretty big precursor to shows later on. Like I remember later on when we were like in high school and college, and they had channels like G4
Yeah.
that was on, and they actually had a show that was similar to that called I forgot exactly what it was. It was like Arena or something like that. But I remember it was more like they had video game challenges like that too, where you would play games either in a team or head to head against other people to compete either for scores or either to compete like head to head in matches or for high scores. I remember like for example they would play rounds of Burnout to basically see who could get like the highest like amount of dollars in like a single crash. And then at the end, I remember this is what turned me on to first person shooters because later on because they would play Unreal Tournament. And that was actually really fun to watch too, seeing people play like Unreal Tournament.
So how did they produce the show, or how was it seen? Like was it set up in a way where it's like a stage, or was it more of like a reality element to it?
It was weird because I don't really remember it exactly, but I remember it feeling like more of a sort of a closed studio sort of space. There wasn't a live audience or anything, and there wasn't like a giant open stage, or even the way that they do like esports today with like their big stages and setups. It was very small. It felt like they shot it on like a sound stage, very dark lighting, low key lighting, and I remember the PCs in particular. They were arranged in sort of like a big circle. So that you'd have one team on the half semicircle and the other team on the other. Because it was like always 4v4, I think, for the teams. So I remember a couple of times too, they even played DDR for like a challenge too. So they would have two guys go head to head and they do like a score attack and stuff like that.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know, even that reminded me of even that kind of show brought me back to Nick Arcade and those 90s game shows, and I thought that was a really good way of doing it still. And it kind of showed that you don't really need to change the formula that much to make it interesting. I guess now with Twitch and streaming and the way that games are now, you don't necessarily need to do it that way.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, but I guess it's like, in a way, it's still kind of interesting to see how that form evolves today.
Yeah. Well, I can't imagine turning, esports into some kind of game show.
Yeah, I mean,
because esports are very, very particular about what games
yeah,
they want to show, and also the skill level of the people playing it.
exactly.
Like they're not gonna bring newbies on into the esports arenas and have them duke it out while people just
Yeah.
complain about them. Like when people watch that for the skill.
Exactly. It still becomes a sport again.
So-
It's somewhere along the lines. It loses that kind of the fun of it too. And it becomes
In what way?
because I feel like it becomes super serious. Like the idea is, it's
Oh,
like,
you mean for like professionals?
yeah, for the professionals, it becomes something where it's like you're expected to perform this at a high level, and
Yeah.
you're playing to win. You're not necessarily playing for fun. You know.
Well, game shows you play to win, but
Yeah,
fun comes
but you
with
have
it.
fun. Yeah, it's still fun to watch, and it's fun to like participate in,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, just man, like that's the real lack of things now. It's like everything's less fun. It's either really dramatic or super serious.
Yeah.
When did we get to the point where we hate fun?
I don't
We hate to
know.
have fun and be wacky. We seem to lose that sometime in this new millennium.
I know. Well, if you like, I'll ask you if you could bring one game show back, whether it could be from Nickelodeon or could be from, further back, like Supermarket Sweep, for example. If you could bring one of those game shows back,
Uh-huh.
like, which one would you want to see again, like in present time?
Present time? Oh, that's
Which one would you bring back, and what's something that you would change?
man.
It could be like you could change anything. Supermarket Sweep, you can just carry it with your arms or whatever. Or if you want, you could bring it into like, the new millennium and add computers. I don't know.
That's hard. I mean, because I think my favorite really was like Nick Arcade back, but it's like I feel like you don't really need to do that sort of thing these days with the way that games are played. So another show I really did like that I probably would want to bring back would be Wild and Crazy Kids.
Ooh, that
'Cause-
was always my favorite.
Yeah,
For some reason.
because a lot of those challenges and a lot of the were very unique and very interesting. Like
Yeah.
especially the one that I liked the best that they did one time was it was on a beach, and so they constructed a racetrack in the sand.
Was it for those radio controlled cars?
Yes.
Oh my god.
And so there were two teams of kids.
This is the best.
One team would be responsible for driving the car. Like they'd have one person at a time drive a car through the little course there. The other team was responsible for planting explosives underneath certain points
They gave
of the
explosives
course.
to kids.
Yeah, it was an explosive that was strong enough to destroy the car.
I know.
And that was the thing. And and the other team, basically the defending team, I guess you can call them that, would have to keep track of the car and where it was and where their explosives were because they weren't marked on the course.
Yeah, you just had to remember
Yeah.
where they were.
So you would see
in the
at
sand.
certain points, like the defending team, the kids would just lower like the detonator, and then you'd see like the sand just blow up. And a lot of the times, you would see the cars just
Like,
get
it just
blasted.
went flying.
It was so hilarious, and that was so cool though. And I remember thinking that like, man, I would just love to do that. Like
Like they should just turn that one game into like an entire show.
I mean, well, no, I mean, I'd love to go out and just do that myself. Just like, dude,
Plant
let's go-
explosives in the
yeah.
sand and wait for someone to come by
Dude.
and then blow it
yeah,
up.
let's just go to the beach. It's like you could bury a couple of like pipe bombs or something somewhere, and I'll just
Pipe
drive my little
bombs.
car.
Gonna get
But
arrested.
I would think that would be a pretty cool show, like something where it's like very much team based, and I mean maybe they can work in stuff nowadays with like drones and stuff, and something where you could
like
put
drone racing.
yeah. Just imagine you could put a GoPro on like a drone like that, and you'd have like another team
Yeah, like
try to
definite-
shoot it out of the sky.
Definitely the production values would be better because if you look at Wild and Crazy Kids now, it was like super low budget. They just
Yeah.
had like one person, 3 hosts, and a camera,
Yeah.
and
They just got a bunch of random kids
yeah,
to
like
come in and
it
like,
seemed
all
like
right.
some community event, but it was a television show on Nickelodeon.
Yeah. So I think that would be the one if we can bring back any old show. That might be one that I would want to bring into the present and like give it a fresh coat of paint, give it some actual value, some production value to let them kind of do what they want, and come up with some like really cool, like challenging, crazy, wacky,
Wild and crazy
events, stuff to do, stuff to like that would actually be really fun and interesting to watch.
Like, can you imagine them like ruining it at all?
Yes, very much. Well, with any of these shows, like I can imagine them ruining it, because just the idea of taking something that was cherished, that they don't do anymore, and trying to bring it back to nowadays, it's very easy to mess it up. I mean, just imagine trying to do any of these other game shows, like, and then, let's throw the reality TV drama spin on it, or something like that.
Because they're definitely going to want to add a little bit of that.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't like that, especially when it comes to like, if we keep it as a kid show or even for teenagers, they're going to want to do something like that. But I mean, why do you have to?
Not necessarily. With Wild and Crazy Kids, I can imagine it just being, a single event each episode. So it's not like a continuous thing where you follow these like this team of 8, against this other team, and
right.
Things evolve over time. But
what about you? What show?
Okay, when you mentioned Nick Arcade, I didn't think about that originally, but now with a lot of technology, especially with like VR, I think they could actually replicate the final challenges so much better.
That would be super
as
sweet.
Opposed to a green screen stage where you're not sure if something's hitting your face or not. Like, I can see that working so much better.
Yeah, like have them each in like a VR setup with like maybe the track pads and everything that they can run on. That would be super sweet, actually.
Like we've people have seen those like working, like kind of like a working prototype maybe for fun, but we've never seen something like that being used in like a competitive arena, whether or not it's something as simple as Nick Arcade or in esports or whatever.
Yeah, but that would be actually a really good idea. I mean, you could even say like, hey, that could be a challenge to people out there, like VR developers who are looking to kind of make a mark. That would be a super sweet mark. Remake the old Nick Arcade like final like wizard challenges or whatever they were called.
Wizard challenges?
I forget what they were called. Something like that though.
Yeah, but
by the way, you were wrong about the host name.
What was it?
His name was Phil Moore.
Oh, Phil Moore.
Yeah. And the video zone, that's what it was called.
With the final?
Yeah,
part?
you had to advance to the video zone to play against the video game wizard of the day.
Oh, do you remember Mikey?
Mikey?
The little avatar that you had to move.
Oh, yeah.
Like when you answered, I'm all coming back to me now. When you answered the trivia questions, you got to move them in like a certain area.
Oh, yeah.
And if he landed on like a good spot, you got to play.
Right, but he could also die, couldn't he?
Well, not die. He would just get like trapped and you would lose your turn or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Like, right. Now I'm kind of like looking it up now, so I'm cheating a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I remember they
had
right here.
Mikey's World. That was what it was called.
Mm-hmm.
They had different areas of like exploration, and I guess it's like they moved into like those places. Yeah, it's like, you got to get Mikey from this part of the board to that part of the board. Oh, that's pretty good.
I'm not sure what they would do for that if they were to change the format.
Yeah.
Clearly, you don't want to have it be boring and just have like, I would like to move my avatar 2 spaces down.
Exactly, because I guess now the way, like looking back at the way the game actually worked, because I mean, I didn't really remember the rules that well.
It was just trivia and then
points, puzzles, pop quizzes, and prizes. Yeah. So I guess the team that moved Mikey was automatically awarded points, and they kept control. Mm-hmm. There'd be different like puzzles that you could solve, like the video repairman.
Wait, what?
Where it's like, okay, there would be like a music video playing,
I remember that.
and it was scrambled, and then you had to know whose music video it was, or something like that.
Yeah, come to think of it, they had a lot of strange things incorporated into the game show.
They did.
It wasn't just straight up video games.
Yeah, there were a lot of like weird video challenges and stuff like that too. So I guess in a way it was kind of, man, it was like MTV kind of like thing.
It was around that time when people loved that stuff. But in terms of changing it to now, I'm not quite sure what they could do for that, aside from making it more competitive based.
Yeah,
like playing games against this other team of 2v2. Like being able to do that and keep it short enough to fit within like an hour or half an hour.
Yeah, because that would be another thing too. You think about the time, like, because you think about how much time that this stuff would take now too, if you
Yeah.
were to give it that kind of value.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
that's why the original ones were they had them play arcade games, which were over in a few minutes.
yeah, they gave them a time limit.
Yeah.
It's like you have to get this X amount of points in X amount of time.
Yeah. Well, but if they were to bring it back, I would want to see it be more like head to head.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
seems like a little more interesting. And
it-
then along with the VR at the end.
Yeah, I honestly, now that you said it, I think that would be a super cool idea. That would be amazing to see, you know?
Like I actually have not experienced like VR like with the Oculus or anything yet.
Right.
So I'm not exactly sure like exactly how well it can work as something that's competitive.
Right.
And like if it's accurate enough to be able to play on a game show or anything, but it's an
Yeah.
idea.
You would also have to screen that a little bit too, like with the contestants, to make sure that they don't just get sick right in the middle of it, you know? Because
And yeah, have that be like the final thing
yeah,
on this.
it's like they
People
win.
are just
going to
be complaining about, okay,
Yeah.
my idea's shot.
It's like I got
by
all the way to the
myself.
finale and then I couldn't win because I threw up.
Well,
halfway
this
through it.
idea is pending, so
Yeah.
it's just one of my many.
Well, now that we've said it, somebody out there is going to do it and make money off of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, you know, just give us like, you know, give us $100, we'll be fine, I think, if with that idea.
Or just buy us an Oculus.
Buy us an Oculus. Oh yeah, that's worth a lot of money. That's like $600,
Yeah.
man. Sure, you don't want the HTC Vive? That's like $800.
I don't know what the difference is. It's VR. It's all the
Supposed
same
to
to
be
me.
a little better.
Yeah. Well, do you have any other game shows you'd want to change at all? Bring back even?
Yeah, I was trying to think about that. Celebrity Squares. Was that a
mean
real
Hollywood
show?
Squares?
Hollywood Squares?
Yeah.
Is that the one where they use celebrities and
Yeah.
stuff?
That's like tic tac toe.
Yeah. I think that would be pretty funny if you were to use some of today's celebrities.
Yeah. Like I can imagine just the format being the same though. Because
Yeah.
It's been that way since. I think the show's been around since like the 70s or 60s.
Yeah. So like just, you know, kind of like having it with today's stars and everything. And now that like also that people get famous for doing a lot of different things other than just being movie stars
Yeah.
and actors, you know, it'd be cool to have like people from different walks of life like be on a game show together and stuff.
Yeah. Who would be the center? Because before it used to be Whoopi Goldberg. She would always have the center one. That's pretty much her show.
Yeah.
And then there was someone else before that. I don't remember.
I don't know.
Who would you put?
What was the center responsible for?
Well, that's the person that's
hosting
always
the show?
No, not hosting it, but you know in tic tac toe you always start with the center.
Yeah.
And so they always started with Whoopi.
Oh. Well, I didn't see. That's the thing. Like when I think of Hollywood Square, I don't know what exactly they do on that show.
They ask the celebrity a question, and then they give them an answer, and the contestant has to determine whether or not the answer is true or false.
So, would you ideally want somebody who knows a lot?
It doesn't matter because sometimes they're told to lie, sometimes
Oh.
sometimes they tell the truth. You're the one that has to figure it out.
Oh God, I don't know. Maybe. So who was it before? It was Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg.
I don't know who I'd want in that middle slot. I mean, would you want somebody to be funny or just somebody? If you want somebody like super smart and interesting, I don't know, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I feel like he would host the show.
Yeah, that would be the thing though. It's
He's
like,
too much of a host type.
I just imagine him as a host. I don't know. That's a hard question for
Someone
me.
who would just sit down and like, who you can't imagine moving around a lot.
Who I can't imagine moving around a lot.
It's like flop down in the chair. This is where I live now.
I don't know why. I just thought of Robert De Niro.
As a s-
I don't know why. I just imagine him just sitting there in a
Yeah.
chair, like, yeah, all right. Although I don't know how interesting he would be in that kind of a show.
You gotta have someone funny, right?
Yeah, Jim Carrey maybe. Steve Carell. I don't know.
I can't see any of these as like permanent fixtures on the show.
Yeah, see. You got to give me some ideas here. You got to help me out with this a little bit.
Robert De Niro. Who's the next Whoopi?
That's a good question. Who is the next Whoopi? Wanda Sykes?
No. God, no.
Maybe she's just
Technically,
irreplaceable.
the next Whoopi doesn't have to be a female or
A
black.
black lady.
It doesn't have to. It's just someone who you feel would be a spiritual successor to Whoopi Goldberg.
I don't know. Maybe like Tina Fey or Amy Poehler.
I don't think they're like universally loved.
Universally loved.
As much as Whoopi was.
Oh God, I don't know that, man. It's hard. I'm just thinking of a bunch of comedians now.
Whatever.
Chris Pratt.
She can have the show.
Yeah. She could just come back, and just keep being the center.
Yeah.
The center square, and then just everyone else will be somebody different. And we've come to the end of this particular show here, I suppose.
Yes. Is that how we're talking now?
Yeah. No, that's all right. But hey, man, I guess since we're talking about game shows, I guess we could, bring this down to the final round.
Ooh, yeah.
So, what are you doing? What have you been up to this past week, or what you going to be doing? You're going away after today, aren't you?
Yeah,
recording
fishing. Yeah. No, it's gonna be fun. Hopefully.
Yeah.
If I don't return, then you know what happened to me.
You gonna bring something back and then you can cook it?
I'll try.
Yeah.
If it's crab, we might die.
Ooh.
But if it's fish, might be okay.
Yeah. And you used to cooking fish? Do you cook a lot of fish?
Yes.
Yeah.
Lots of fish.
I've got some in your fridge right now that I gotta go bring home and cook it for tomorrow for
What
dinner.
kind?
Louisiana flounder.
Why do you always make flounder?
Because at the grocery store that I work next to, it's very cheap, and it actually tastes really good the way I cook it. So I don't know.
Which is how? Do you fry it?
Yeah, just fry it on a pan, with a little bit of oil, like some spices, like salt, pepper, dillweed. Put a little. Once it gets crispy, you could put a little square of butter on it and let it melt over it, so you get a nice texture there, and a little bit of lemon at the end of it.
I don't know. Flounder isn't it like really, really? It's clearly flat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's not a lot of like meaty parts to
Not
the
really.
steak,
Yeah,
whatever.
the fillet itself is like a longer flat fillet, and then it shrinks a little bit lengthwise, but for the most part it kind of like gets this nice crispy skin on it.
Like the only place I'm used to eating flounder is at Chinese restaurants.
Oh,
that's the only place
yeah.
that they've ever served.
Yeah,
flounder.
I think that's why, because it's like it's super cheap,
Yeah.
Compared to like, I would cook halibut, but it's like at the grocery store it's like $28.99 a pound. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Where the hell do you get this fish from?
Yeah, it's just a place next door. Yeah, cooking.
Fish.
Guys can cook. I can cook.
Can you?
Hell yeah, man.
Well, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
You should get a slow cooker.
Oh, I should.
That way you don't need to do anything really. You just
Yeah.
load it up, press a button, and look at me.
Yeah.
That's what I do all the time.
It's like, you take that chicken bone, put some vegetables, throw it in a pot. Baby, you got a stew going.
A stew. Speaking of chicken bones, I'm going to pick up my pigeons this weekend.
Yeah.
So by next week, they'll finally be here.
Oh, man. Indy and Daisy. Oh, that'll be cool. Or that'll be coo.
It would be cool. You've made this joke last week.
Oh, did I? Damn it.
Wait, no, it was the coup runnings, but it's the same word.
Yeah.
Come on.
Damn it. Well, now I've made those jokes. Well,
Come on, just get a coup. Oh, see, you gotta reappropriate the word.
yeah. So you gotta cool off a little bit there, I think.
You still use the word cool. Doesn't
Damn it.
count.
Ah.
Yeah, we have their cage set up, so hopefully they'll enjoy it.
Yeah, it looks really good. You did a really good job building it, and it looks really, really comfortable. And the fact that it's they're gonna get a lot of sunlight, get a lot of nice views and everything. I think they'll be very happy there. I think too, actually, after last week, we've both been playing a lot of Pokemon. Also,
Oh right, God, I'm already 20 hours into the game.
I know when you told me that, I was just like, Jesus. It hasn't even been like
it's been a week, well, not even
it's
a
been
week.
less than a week.
Holy crap! Well, I mean, have been playing. Sometimes at work, I'll just leave it on my desk.
Oh, okay.
I'll like press a button and then work for like half an hour, and then
it's still running.
This thing's still on.
No wonder. I was gonna say.
Just
Also,
trying to get my hours played up.
considering you spent 20 hours in that, you only got 25 Pokemon. Come on, man.
What?
You got to catch them all.
I don't want to.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
not
actually
sure if I want a Zubat in my party.
just catch it and then trade it away for some junk or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
So we can get all the starters. We're gonna rope our friend Johnny into trading us all the starters because he hasn't actually started the game yet. So
We're gonna make them trade us each What? Like
Well,
each
the starters,
the
yeah.
two other starters.
Yeah. So I need Squirtle and Bulbasaur, and you need Charmander and Bulbasaur.
But in order for us to do for 3 people to get all 3 starters,
Yeah.
you gotta do the math here. So let's say that he's the one who is gonna trade us the other starters.
Yeah, I think his current starter is the one that he wants to keep. So
Okay.
he's going to trade it. It's a Charmander, though. So he's going to trade it to me. I'm going to give him a junk one. He's got to trade me 2 more. Like, he's got to trade Squirtle and Bulbasaur so that I have all 3, but I also have his Charmander to start.
Yeah.
And then he needs to start the game off. I guess he needs to give you another Charmander, and then he needs to give you a Bulbasaur. So you got to trade away 2 junks.
Yeah.
And then he could start the game with either Bulbasaur or Squirtle, and I'll give him back his Charmander, so he needs to trade me a junk.
But he also needs to trade you one more.
Well, no,
The one that he doesn't start with. Because he needs to give that to you in order for it to go back to him afterwards.
Well, no, but that's what he trades me to start. He's gonna.
Yeah, but
give
then
me,
you don't keep that.
I know, but then he
Well,
needs.
why don't you want it?
Huh? No, well, because I have a Charmander. So if he gives me his current Charmander, that I'm gonna give back to him after all this, so that
No,
he
but I
can-
mean with Squirtle and Squirtle and Bulbasaur are the 2 other ones, right?
yes,
He can start with either of them.
yeah,
Say he starts with Squirtle.
yeah.
Where's he going to get a Venus, or where's he going to get a Bulbasaur from? Because he only traded 1 to you. He's going to
so-
have to trade you another one. So you're going to have 2 Bulbasaurs.
Oh my God, we're gonna have to make a freaking
Like a
chart for
some,
this.
some kind of
we're gonna have to
spreadsheet.
flow chart or a spreadsheet. Jesus,
Well, this is what happens when Pokemon happens.
Yeah. What's your current team?
Let's see. I have Clefairy, which I'm trying to level because, like I said, you know, Clefairy is like a living Gengar, right?
Really? Oh yeah, I think you told me that like last time. Yeah, you were talking about that.
It's based on like how it looks. You know, it's basically just Gengar.
Yeah, so Gengar is what
alive.
happens like when a Clefairy dies.
Well, then what's a Haunter and a Ghastly? Because if they evolve into something dead.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have that. I have a Blastoise, or about to be one.
Yeah, it's a Wartortle still, I think, too, right?
And then... What the hell else was there? A Pidgeotto.
Got your Doug Trio that you
The
named.
Doug Trio. The Dick Trio.
Dick Trio. Freaking tweeted me that image. And I was like, oh my God.
It's just 3 lumps together. This is what you wanted, Will.
Yeah, figured.
And then anything else doesn't matter because I'm going to switch them out anyway.
Yeah, like once you get farther in the game. Oh, right on.
Yeah, it's a good team, I hope.
Hopefully. You'll get far with it.
If there's nothing else, what about your team?
My team? I mean,
You can't just end this without saying your
Well-
miraculous. Okay, well, if you don't have one yet, what will you have in like 40 levels?
40 level. Oh God, I don't even see that. That's hard too. Cause I don't know. I think for now, yeah, I have. I picked Charmander to start, so I definitely want to. I'm aiming for it to have a Charizard. I mean, right now too, I have like I've been spending a lot of time like leveling up all the Pokemon just so I can also get their evolutions. Like I have a Beedrill now, and I'm about to have a Butterfree. Usually, I would keep Butterfree in my party for quite a while because I like the flying type there too, and it's got the psychic moves for later on.
Wait, is it flying? Because
think it's-
Beedrill's not flying.
Maybe it's not.
It's
I don't
poison
remember.
and bug.
Is Butterfree psychic and bug then?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't really remember. So
I feel like they really screwed up on some of these
Yeah.
types.
So I mean, all I know is it learns psychic moves pretty quickly. So I like to have that early on, at least until I catch an Abra and evolve him to like Kadabra, and then we could trade him and then get Alakazams.
Yeah.
That would be that's awesome. The fact that we can do that now without a fucking link cable.
Hey, those are classic.
They were, but it's like so annoying to have to bring that to school.
Well, no,
and
that
stuff.
was the best part. You could be like, you were the one with the link cable that everyone's like, oh, no, come on, let's trade.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I do want to eventually catch a Cubone because I like Cubone a lot, and I'm still, like I said I'm in the Pokemon episode. I want to use him in my team. Definitely Arcanine. Got to get later on. I got to have that. I guess that's the thing though. It's like then I'd have 2 fire types. You know,
Yeah, you gotta.
fire's my element though. I like fire, and that's sometimes that's the problem. Like I remember in Pokemon X, I had there was that one Sparrow that like it's a fire type.
I don't
I
know.
forgot what it was called, but yeah, that was part of my team for a while there too. Even though I had Fennekin originally, I had 2 fire types, but one was a flying, so not very versatile, I guess. But yeah, I think I'll have some of those.
You gotta diversify. Come on.
We'll see. Maybe by next week, after I've spent probably almost 20 hours on it, I'll have a different team to present to you.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that's enough talking for this week.
Yeah.
We will see you guys next week again.
Definitely. We will be back and with another topic that has to do with, well, we haven't decided yet, but it'll be interesting for sure.
Figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
All right. This has been Will and
Joey.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You are Will. I'm Joey.
Yeah, you're Joey.
And this has been Retroactive.
That it has.
Mm-hmm.
We'll catch you next week.
Yep. See you guys.
Later.